Hey everyone, Andang here for what might be the final episode of the Battle of the Black Gate. When we last left off, we were making our way around trying to recollect these men so they could get tales from the elves that would encourage them and probably end up being a session play of the Battle of the Last Alliance, which I'm super excited for, so let's go ahead and get on into this. Yes, let's beckon this Rohirrim Moya. Oh, we gathered a whole band there. That's pretty cool. Alright. Let's gather another. Yep, you guys don't need to hear the story, but you guys, oh man, need to hear the whole story. Let's go. Alright. Oh dang, all the archers stopped shooting and go. That's pretty cool. Very cool. Alright, let's go and learn this story from the elves. That's really cool. They are all assembled here. You have done well, my friend. I see many have come to hear our father's tales, and we shall soon begin. Let us hope it can bring some comfort to these men before we make for the Black Gate. Andang, I believe all who wish to hear the tale have arrived by now. I can see men of Rohan, Gondor, and Ithilien gathered about, and still I can sense the unease in them. Erohir and I shall do our best to ease it, but I cannot promise it shall be enough. Each of us shall be called to confront our fates soon enough, and it is likely some of us shall be more fortunate than others, but none should dwell on such things. As for the tale, it shall be a story of the Battle of Dagorlad's final hours, and of my father's triumph over the servants of the Dark Lord. It is a lengthy tale, but my brother and I shall make sure the message of hope is not lost in its telling. Erohir shall begin at your request, so when you believe everyone is ready, you should speak to him. Let us begin, Andang. Alright, here we go.
Hoping to raise the spirits of the host of the West, Elladan and Elrohir have offered to tell the tale of a great victory over the enemy at the end of the Second Age.
Very cool. Whoa, what banner is that? That is really cool. I guess that's the banner of the last alliance? Dang. In an age long ended, a great battle was fought upon Dagorlad between numberless armies of the Dark Lord and the last alliance of elves and men. For years they clashed upon the battle plain, and each momentary victory and defeat dimmed the hope of the war ever coming to an end. After many trying battles, the last alliance pressed southward and approached the Black Gate of Mordor. Yet the nearer they drew to the Black Land, the more foes the Dark Lord sent forth. But lo, Elendil, the tall and high King Gilgalad of the Noldor possessed much wisdom and valor, and soon the plains were drawn for a final assault against the Black Gate. The last alliance assembled at a great bulwark, and it was there they made their stand against Sauron and his armies.
Upon the battle plain, the lines of war were drawn.
Alright. Here we go. Who are all these people? Anarion and Isildur? Hey, Isildur, what's going on? Don't pick up that ring. Okay, buddy. Elendil the Tall, High King Gilgalad, Círdan, Thranduil. Hey, Thranduil. What if I told you a dwarf totally is gonna steal your lady? Alright, let's continue along.
Orcs, Easterlings, Southrons, and evil beasts all stood in defiance of the last alliance of elves and men.
Dang, there's Elrond. That's a huge spider! Oh my gosh. Dang, liking this so far. That is really cool. Victories over the Dark Lord's servants would not come easily for long. Although orcs and evil men fell in scores upon the battle plain, Sauron soon loosened his 9 greatest servants upon the last alliance. Once they were men, but twisted by the rings given to them by the Dark Lord, they grew stretched and withered into unseen forms. As the corruption of the rings consumed them, these men grew beyond death itself. For in truth the Dark Lord held the rings and thus tethered them to service and life unending. Even if they were struck down, they were not slain, merely banished for a time. Many names have been bestowed upon them by those who have beheld their terrible shapes. Dwemerlek, Dunshir, Gwentharion, and Nazgul. In the tongue of Westron, their names is perhaps the most precise. Ringwraiths.
At Sauron's command, the 9 Ringwraiths rushed forth from the Black Land to bolster his vast armies.
Dang.
The 9 wielded fear itself against the last alliance, and all
Oh,
but the
man.
boldest quailed before them.
Dang. Oh, man. That's pretty legit. Whoa. It was almost in color there for a second. Alright. Got Isildur over here. Naryn over here. Very cool. Although many of their kin fled before the Ringwraiths, Gil-galad and Elendil did not falter. Gil-galad held close the mighty spear, Aeglos, and Elendil bore the blade, Narsil, the very sword that was broken, reforged and wielded anew by King Elisar. They fought as one and cut through the Dark Lord's forces, with a fury unlike any the elves or men had ever witnessed. They soon stood before the Black Gate itself, but the battle would not be won so easily. Alas, the Ringwraiths and a vast army of orcs had gathered beneath the Dark Lord's ramparts of the Black Gate, and they sought to stand between the last alliance and the Master.
Without fear, Gil-galad and Elendil the Tall raised spear and sword to defy them.
Very cool. Dang, that's the Black Gate in the distance, and it's totally different. Oh man, that is really cool.
Even the 9 could not withstand Aeglos and Narsil, and they
Dang.
were struck down, banished back to Mordor.
That is awesome.
Without their grim masters to drive them forth, the orcs cast down their weapons and fled back through the gate.
Dang.
The Black Gate of Mordor was thrown down, and the last alliance pushed forth to confront the Dark Lord himself.
Very cool. Look at that. Totally different. That is really cool. Dang. Sauron's really let this place go. And so the Battle of Dagorlad drew to a close. The last alliance won a decided victory over the Dark Lord, and banished his mightiest servants back to the Black Land. The might of men and elves proved the greater that day, and let us hope it shall prove true once more. Although the fighting within Mordor lasted over 7 more years before Sauron himself was finally defeated, the battle turned the tide in a war that many thought unwinnable. Yet many victories and defeats still laid ahead, 7 years? I did not realize it was that long from this point in the story until the initial, the eventual defeat. Craziness. That is
But
awesome.
that is a tale of its own.
Ah, a tale for another day, I see. Quite the tale, my friend, was it not? Okay, buddy. That was pretty epic, I do have to admit. Very, very cool. So they don't look very impressed. Sorry to say, Elladan and Elrohir. I think you might have some more work to do. I have told it as best I can, Nandeng. I hope it is enough to give these men comfort before we confront the Dark Lord. I must admit, I left out some of the more dreadful scenes that Father described in the battle, and embellished a few details. But I believe the full account is best left for times of peace and reflection. These men needed a tale of hope, and so that is what I told. It shall be as it was. Elves and men shall stand together again. Let us hope victory can be won once more, and that the Ring of Power meets its final doom. Alright, I think that is the end. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Man, that was awesome. Really liked going through the story there. Hopefully you guys did as well. If you did, feel free to give a like down below. And I just want to talk a little bit about this update in general, especially since I won't be doing a review anymore on Lotro Players News. And so, yeah, I think that this update was really good in general. Really good in general. I feel like it had a few areas that it wasn't as good. So, I feel like this first area in the Wastes was just not very good. The No Man Lands. That being said, there's not much they could have really done there, but I think they could have been more creative to try to get stuff going there as far as quests go. I feel like that is definitely the weakest part of this area. The Slag Hills area, I feel like they did a fairly good job. I think it was a little bit too repetitive and going back into places, but in general, really good. Daggerlad was awesome. Enjoyed the entire plotline there. I feel like it was just about the perfect length. It was just really good and just enjoyed it. The epic story I actually felt was too short. I know that things are going super quick and the battle at the Black Gate really doesn't take that much time in comparison to something like Pelennor Fields, but I felt like that it could have been longer and there could have been more stuff going on. That being said, I'm glad that it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it was really good. And I'm so glad that they're using the tech that they came up for Pelennor Fields again, and I hope they keep using that because I think it works really, really well in storytelling, which is the whole point of the epic story, is to be telling stories, and so I think that that is the best way as far as a game mechanic goes, is through instances like that they've done now at Pelennor and now again at the Battle of the Black Gate. I loved the Golem session play. That was fantastic. And in general, I really liked this update. I think it was a really good update for Lotro. I cannot wait until we go to Mordor. I can't believe that at the time of recording this, which is the day before May, it is the final day of April 2017, we still don't know anything, really, about Mordor. We do know that there is going to be a level cap increase. We don't know how much. We do know that there is going to be a raid. We don't even know the name of it, although we do know where it takes place, but I did research on where it takes place and then couldn't find anything, so I don't know if it's obscure or I was just forgetting or whatever. But we also just don't know that much about Mordor in general. I mean, there's a few things, like we know there's going to be this storyline for each of the different races, and you can play through all of them or just one of them or whatever you want to do. But really, beyond that, we don't know anything else about Mordor yet. Hopefully by the time this video releases, there will be more Mordor information. But it's, we need to be learning more about this. This is their biggest marketing opportunity, and I hope they really do take full advantage of it. I'm super excited for Mordor. Can't wait to see what happens there. Really excited to see the ring destroyed. I feel like that this update, especially where the epic story ended, was at the very absolute last moment that they could possibly have stopped it before the ring's destruction. And so I feel like next update's going to start off with however they're going to be telling that story. Maid of Lions has said that it's an original way that he's been wanting to share from the very, very beginning, so I'm excited to see what that ends up being. I have a feeling it's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to see that, and just have the core Tolkien story finally be coming to an end. Now, obviously, Tolkien wrote a ton more, and, you know, there's like half the book of Return of the King left after this. But it is going to be nice, I think, to have, you know, Sauron finally defeated, and 10 years of work, or, you know, for the developers, like 15 years of work, finally coming to a conclusion at Mordor. I think that is going to be a fantastic feeling. Cannot wait for that. I really can't. That's going to be awesome. After that, there is so much that they're going to be able to do, not only in Mordor, because there's all sorts of stuff that's going on in Mordor, but also they're going to be able to do all sorts of stuff all over Middle-earth, because there's still the War of the Ring going on even after the ring is destroyed throughout Mirkwood and all the way up in by the Lonely Mountain, and, you know, the whole Dale area and all that stuff. Tons of stuff going on all up there. Moria still needs to be retaken in the Fourth Age, way after the War of the Ring, and so, you know, there's so much stuff they have to do, including scouring the Shire and all that stuff. So, very excited for all of that. Hopefully you guys are as well. And yeah, it's very exciting that we are on the very verge of Mordor. The next update, the next major update, will be taking us to Mordor. That's fantastic. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, once again, be sure to give it a like down below. A big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for supporting everything I do here on this channel. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for Mordor when it comes out later this year.